Hey there, Sacred Explorers. It's Kat and Ange. We're back for another episode of Sacred Explorers. And we're sitting on my couch today, just looking at the snow. And thought we'd talk a little bit about rituals that nourish. So, I guess first of all, it would be great if we kind of defined what we mean about ritual.
Sounds like a plan.
So, for me, um, a ritual can be anything that you do regularly, like daily or a couple times throughout the day or weekly or monthly. I guess another word you could use would be habit or even routine if the word ritual is scary to you. But I like the word ritual because it's a reminder to bring the sacred into what I'm doing. And, there's a lot of people talk about bringing the magic into the mundane. And I think by moving through my day ritually, it always reminds me to kind of tap into that holy.
I think for me, I look at it more as a grounding. Um, so you can call it ritual. I mean, I never used to call it a ritual. I used to call it my routine. I said, oh, this is what I do in my morning. This is my morning routine. And I didn't actually start calling it ritual until about
You started hanging out with me.
pretty much. Yeah, no, but even when I was hanging out with you, I was like, no, I'm not calling it a ritual. I'm calling it a routine. This is what I do. This is my daily routine. And then, but as we been developing Sacred Explorers more and more, and we've been tapping into um, the sacred. We've been tapping into, ourselves as sacred beings. Then ritual just made more sense because it is tapping into myself, tapping into the ritual of me, grounding myself into being present and grounding myself into being here and starting the day off on that foot,
Yes.
in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, ritual works.
Yeah.
But like Kat said, I mean, it's not it's not something that you're just all of a sudden going to wake up one day and say, oh, this is my ritual.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you actually have to feel and experience.
Yeah.
So you call it whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, your morning ritual is your attempt to start the day off grounded and centered in who you are and who you want to show up as in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the day, these rituals become grounding exercises to bring you back to yourself when you get off into the, overwhelm, and then in the evening, it's again grounding yourself back so that you can rest and recover,
Yeah, and I think for me, we talked last time a little bit about the lineage that we're part of, and so my official designation in that lineage is ritual master. But it's one that I certainly would never put it on a business card, and it's not something that I really share openly, and not because there's any sort of like embarrassment or anything around it. But it feels like a really private label. Like it is about, my relationship with the divine, my commitment to the work that I do on the earth. But it's kind of like, whereas my other designation is healer, and that feels way more like community and working with clients and helping other people. Um, so I think for me, there's also this component of ritual that is, the things you do when nobody else is really looking. Like for me, to walk the talk is, what am I doing when behind closed doors? And so it doesn't have this for show quality to it. So I think, when as we talk about developing ritual practices, I would just encourage folks to make them what's meaningful for you. Like it doesn't, just because we're going to share what we do, tweak it so that it works for your life, and don't share it with, you don't have to like broadcast it. It is kind of a personal, private thing.
Yeah, that's what came to my mind was when you started talking was personal.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I think ritual is personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's what works for you.
Yeah.
There is no one size fits all.
No.
There is no right way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's
And
what
yeah,
works
it
for
is,
you.
and it is crazy because, obviously there's a collection of ritual masters throughout the world,
Yep.
and there is a component that I love, that I know as I'm saying a ritual, that there's hundreds of other people saying that exact same ritual every
Mm-hmm.
day. So it's not that it's like necessarily something I just made up, but it is private and personal, even if other people are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Because they're probably not doing it the same way.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
With the same intentions, maybe, or with the same drive, or
Well, and
with the
just the
same.
same energy structure,
Yeah.
right? There's only
Yeah.
one me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, that being said, now that we've said that they're personal and private,
Yeah. We're gonna share.
how about you share with us a little bit about what your morning rituals are like? Because I will be honest, before I became a ritual master, I definitely looked at you and was like, my goodness, that girl has her morning air quote routine down. And I could take some lessons from her.
Yeah. So for me, it all started many, many moons ago. I don't even remember when I started doing these things. Before COVID. Oops, am I allowed to say COVID?
Yeah, you
All right, I'm saying it anyways. Like whatever. Yeah, so it started before that. I was already doing it. But I think it grew more during that period because when you're in isolation, it's like, what are you going to do to stay sane, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it just became for me um, because I had to drive so far to go to work, right? I was driving over an hour each way. And I needed to prepare myself to do that, like
Mm-hmm.
just be sitting in traffic and to be, so you can't jump out of bed, throw your clothes on, jump in the car, and then sit in traffic and expect to get to work and be ready to take, like, it's not going to happen, right? So for me, it was okay, what am I going to do to get myself centered? And I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. It just felt like it's something I needed to do.
Right.
So for me, it's I wake up at the same time. I'm not going to tell you what time that is because most people go, oh my God. But yeah, let's just say sometimes before the sun. And the first thing I usually do is I get up and I do like a stretch. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in bed when I do the stretch, but it's just a stretch to sort of wake my body up. And then it's like a gratitude check too, because I'm awake and I'm stretching and I'm grateful that I woke up and I have a chance to do this again, like
Mm-hmm.
have another day. And, I can move my body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll do a meditation. And it can be anywhere from 10 minutes to 25 minutes depending on how much I feel I need,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I get out of bed and then the next thing I do, well, I'll have to, you take care of personal things like, and then I do my prayer. I'm going to call it prayer. Okay. So I do my prayer, or I say my prayers, or I do my rituals. Um, and that again is just grounding and centering myself. And it's the same thing every day, right? So say the same thing every day in the same order every day, right? So I don't have to focus on the words as much as the feeling, right? Center myself in, ground myself down. Okay, now I'm good. Then I will do a workout of some sort. 9 times out of 10. Some mornings I go with my body, and if I finish doing the prayers and I stand there and I feel like my body is just not, it's just not going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
then I won't do that. I'll just do some stretching. But I'm trying to do, the workouts and more consistently. At one point, I was working out every morning religiously,
Yep.
but we'll talk about this in another podcast about how you have to adapt. Um, so now I listen to my body more than I did before,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that helps too. Because you're not feeling forced.
Yeah.
Because trying to work out when you're feeling forced, it's not as effective.
No.
Because you're just going through the motions and you're not really focused on what you're doing. And then then you go through what you normally would do. You shower, you get dressed, you make your lunch, you pack your bag, you jump in the car, and you go to work. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean that's my morning.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to journal in the morning. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to journal in the evening, but we'll talk about evening after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And then I guess, I love us because we really do, like, we complement each other so well, and, really can share with people two different, like, realities,
Yep.
quite frankly.
Yep.
So I don't work outside of the home. I have my own practice, my own healing business, my own writing. So my mornings aren't dictated by a start time.
Mm-hmm.
So that has been something I've actually, I don't want to say struggle, because quite frankly I worked my entire life in corporate to be in a place where I don't have to rush anywhere, and without an official start time it can take some time to kind of have a morning routine, because unless I have a client booked at a
Mm-hmm.
specific time, which I never book people before 11,
Right.
there's a long runway before I have to be presentable to the world. So, it definitely took some adapting. And uh, so, where I've landed is I also wake up and stretch in bed first. Um, and I don't usually get out of bed until the sun is out, but I would say just out. I not just not out. And then I find I get up and I light my altar candles right away, because that kind of signifies like I'm moving into ritual. Then I go to the bathroom and
Mm.
then come back out, so that there is no excuse to, the
Mm-hmm.
candles are on. So like we we best proceed. I'm the same. My ritual practice is quite a bit longer
Mm-hmm.
at this point in my journey. So it really is a time not just to honor God, like the divine creator being,
Mm-hmm.
but also to connect with that big, all powerful deity, with my inner
Mm.
goddess. And so I'm committing to, like, reminding myself that God isn't just outside of us, like we are God.
Mm-hmm.
So make my rituals are a lot about connecting, laying down prayers for the world. How can I serve? Really just, being in a position of, okay, like, let your will be my will. And what does that look like today?
Mm-hmm.
So when that practice is done, I put the kettle on, and then I light my more casual candles. There's a lot of candles that happen in my world. And then I always make myself a cup of cacao, and I do journal. That's the point. That's the place in my morning, where I do my gratitude journal. I always do 10 things I'm grateful for, but not just like Angela, my couch. But I usually write a couple of, like, reasons why, like, like Angela for pushing me to become, more of myself every day, or my couch that holds me when my body is hurting, or, the lineage I'm part of for inspiring me to be cool. Um, because I think a lot of times people do gratitude lists, but they just like,
Yeah.
and it's
Same thing every day almost.
yeah, like, of course my son's going to be on the list every day, but what about him this day
Yeah. What
am
is
I
it?
grateful for?
Yeah.
um and then I usually do just a little bit of a health check in that journaling. I also, this will be another episode, but I'm working through some health stuff, so I find it helps to do a little bit of a check-in around, like, what's working, what's not, tweaks. And then I also move my body. So at this point, well, it's crappy winter right now. So in a perfect world, I am in Europe and I go outside for a walk in the sunshine. But at this point, I usually head downstairs and hop on the treadmill and at least open the blinds so that I get some natural light on my eyes. And you know, I'm certain we will talk in one episode around, this world of biohacking,
Mm,
which I actually hate the term. I really think what it is, all this biohacking stuff, is really us remembering what the ancients used to do.
yeah.
And, light, if you've been around me at all, I could talk for hours about light, but getting morning light on our eyes is just so important for setting our rhythm for the whole day.
Hmm.
So it's important to me. And as the spring settles in, usually my rituals, then a walk, and then my cacao is how it rolls. So that's how I start my day. And, gratitude, I think we both mentioned gratitude, but didn't really anchor in why.
Mm,
Um, you'll never be happy with what you've got if you can't be grateful for what
what you
you've
have.
got.
Yeah.
And also recognizing how many blessings you're already surrounded with. Like, even if your life isn't quote unquote perfect, like at the very least, you have a roof over your head and food in your fridge. And, like there's been days where I've been working through stuff, and like literally my gratitude list has been like the box of Kleenex on my night table so that I can have a good cry and wipe away my tears.
Hmm.
Um, but gratitude is always the best form of prayer. So,
So you might be sitting there saying, "Whoa, wait a minute. The two of you seem to be very different in your morning routines, rituals. How do you travel together then?"
oh, yes,
Right?
that's a really great question.
Right? Because that will
Yeah.
come up.
We ignore ourselves, each other in the morning when we travel.
Totally do.
There is a lot of, like, even if we're in, like, we've been in some tiny hotel rooms, especially in Europe.
Yes.
um we just really have gotten good at, like, I will whisper my rituals. Angela travels with
Headphones.
headphones.
Yep.
And there's just this unwritten rule that until both of us have finished our rituals, we don't talk to each other.
No. Well, we'll say good morning.
Yeah, but sometimes not
I mean,
even.
sometimes it's a grumble,
Mm-hmm.
but it is an acknowledgement at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and also just this respect that
Yeah.
it's important. Like,
Yeah.
I know sometimes when we're in Mexico, Ange will do her meditation on the beach. We always watch the sunrise together. And then sometimes I'll leave her doing her meditation on the beach, and I'll come back to the hotel room to do my practice in the hotel room
Hmm.
because mine's a little bit weirder to do in public. Um, there's also been times if we have to drive somewhere that we will cut them a bit short in the morning,
Yeah.
but then pick them up
In the evening.
in the evening. I think, yeah, it's really just when you travel with somebody, having open communication around what are the things you do daily that are important to you that you don't want
Hmm.
to give up even on the trip. I
Yeah.
mean, how many times have we done workouts on balconies?
Right? Because there was no room in the room or there was no gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think um, talking before you go away
It's important. Yeah.
is really
And
important.
respecting people's, I don't know what the word is, but like respecting each other's space and respecting each other's
Mm-hmm.
beliefs and respecting each other's boundaries, I guess,
Yeah.
is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Um, because it is a personal thing,
Mm-hmm.
like what we
Mm-hmm.
do in the morning. It's just for us.
Yeah.
It's not for anybody else.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think the one thing that I've enjoyed that's changed as we go on more trips is we tend to keep one altar
yeah, instead of two.
in the room
Yeah.
now, which is quite lovely to,
Yeah.
be able to build a sacred anchor in the room
Yeah.
that has some of our, like both of our, like,
Yeah.
we'll each
We
put a
bring
crystal
things.
on, we each, so that feels really beautiful to be growing together in that
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes care of our morning.
Mm-hmm.
I think really where we're going to be honest with the crew who's listening is evenings.
Yeah. But do we want to talk about things to do during the day or do we just want to like Do you
Um,
do anything during the day to ground yourself? I mean, I have to because of the
yeah, I think you talk about that
yeah.
for sure. I think people who work in offices with crazy people, sorry, with lots of energy
Lots of
and
energy and overwhelm. There
overwhelm,
we go.
could probably benefit hearing what you do throughout the day.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know like what I do in the real world, I guess. Um although we are in the real world. I don't know how to I live multiple realities.
Hmm.
I sound like a crazy person, but I don't know how to define it. Okay, so for my day job, um I'm a director of HR, and that involves me interacting with a lot of people who need a lot of advice, help, support, service throughout the day.
Hmm.
And that can be draining on a person. So you have to be able to take space for yourself. And it took me a long time
Hmm.
to realize that it's okay to take time for yourself.
Yeah.
So if you have an office like I do, it's a little bit easier because you can just close the door and shut out the world for 10 minutes,
Hmm.
right? Um,
But I also know you've walked yourself to the bathroom a few times and closed the door and taken a few deep breaths. And
yes, I
so,
have.
even if you are a person who has a cubicle,
Yeah, you can. You can go to the bathroom and take a few
mm,
deep breaths. It basically, it's just again, it's about coming back into yourself and grounding yourself and taking your energy back. And there's lots of different ways to do it. And actually, we we have a post that's coming up. If it's not up, it will be up this week. Um, about that, about like what to do during the day,
mhm,
some of the things that you can do. And I mean, like there's simple things like practice the pause. So practice the pause is literally close the door or find a quiet space and just breathe.
yep,
Like take deep breaths and, like in 2 3, hold 2 3, out 2 3,
yep,
in 2 3, hold 2 3, out 2 3. And that's one that's really good. And you just do that until you feel yourself, the tension leaving your body.
mhm,
If you're in a meeting and you're suddenly feeling overwhelmed, then you need to practice the pause differently because you can't just all of a sudden start breathing in the middle of a meeting. So you've got to do something a little bit different to ground yourself. And to do
mhm,
that, you literally just need to go. You can put your hands, if you're sitting, you can put your hands on your leg, on your lap, and just, you know, feel that,
mhm.
feel into that, feel your feet on the floor. And you can breathe while you're doing that. Don't close your eyes because people will be like, she's sleeping. You can do that with your eyes open. And it's just a matter of just centering yourself and saying to yourself, I'm safe, I'm okay, you know, and that brings yourself back into yourself.
Mhm.
Um, you can go get yourself a cup of coffee or tea or whatever's warm.
Water.
Water's not really, unless you want hot water.
I know, but sometimes it moves
Oh,
emotion
yeah,
out
I
of
guess
the
water.
air.
Yeah, you're right. But I was thinking more warmth.
Hmm.
Like you can get a warm cup. Maybe I'm thinking that because it's cold up here. But you get a warm cup and you
Hmm.
just sit there with the cup and you literally drink that cup with intention. You don't just inhale it and suck it back.
Yeah.
You drink it with intention.
Hmm.
And again, that brings you back into yourself. So there's like a whole bunch of different things that'll be posted on
Yeah.
our Instagram and our Facebook
Yeah.
they can look at.
And I'd say my, throughout the day practices really are woven into the healing techniques that I do.
Yeah,
So, if somebody's coming to do a crystal healing with me or life activation, full spirit activation, like there's a lot of prep that I do before somebody walks through my door.
true.
Um, and a huge part of that is so that I'm grounded, so that all my stuff is out of the way, so
Mhm.
that I've got that connection,
Mhm.
so that when you come into my space, there's none of my crap in the way.
Yeah,
So a lot of times, these healing modalities that I offer, it might be an hour and a half session with you, but I've already done an hour and a half prep before you come into the space.
right.
Um,
And then afterwards too,
and
right?
then afterwards, too, just energetically cleaning things up. Um, and I love that about the work I get to do is it is healing wrapped in meditation.
Mhm.
So there is no space for my crap when I'm doing the work that I'm doing,
Mhm.
which allows me to really move through the day in a lot more of a meditative space than, you know, the days when I used to work in a more corporate focused job.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's not that that isn't present. It's just
Different. Yeah.
very different. Yeah. And then walking, because,
Oh yeah,
you know,
walking. Yeah.
where I live, it's like 1,000 square feet, and it's also my healing space is in the same space. So
For
if
now.
I'm not intentional about, you know, breaking up my day with movement, then I walk 500 steps. So I would say that's the other, you know, midday ritual that is woven into my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably a little different. You can walk around.
I walk around the plant, but I don't get a break when I walk around the plant,
No,
right? Because
no.
people are stopping me
Yeah.
as I'm going, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have to get back to my office and try and remember what everybody wanted.
Yeah.
So for me, walking does not. But if you can go somewhere and walk, like
Mm-hmm.
even a park at
Yeah.
lunchtime or something, that
Yeah.
would be great too.
Yeah.
So
So now we're gonna come clean with our evenings.
yeah.
What's the problem?
Well, I'm really great at during the day, but when I get home from work in the evenings, I'm not so great at my evening wind down rituals. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting better, but I still not where I am. Like my morning is just, locked in. But in the evenings, it's a lot of times my evening, I'll be honest, is if I don't work out in the morning, I work out in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make something to eat. And then I may journal. I may not. I may just plop my butt down on the couch and binge watch TV,
Mm-hmm.
do my Italian lessons, and crawl into my bed.
Yeah.
Like, there's no. Then I wonder why I toss and turn and can't turn my brain off. Mm.
Yeah, and you know, I've been thinking a lot about that because you do Italian lessons every night. I do Portuguese lessons every night. We both have ridiculously long streaks on Duolingo. It is something that, you know, we're committed to.
Right.
And and pretty much for me, um ritualistically, that happens between 8 and 8:30 every evening.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same boat as you. Like, I do not have a consistent evening routine at all. Um, and I'm like, why can I consistently do Duolingo for a half an hour every single evening, but I can't seem to habit stack anything else on top of it?
Right.
Um, and I think we likely have different whys around what's not working. I know for me, when I sit and think about it, like, I spend pretty much, if I'm not seeing clients or haven't been intentional about booking a coffee date, I spend all day alone.
Mm.
And I think for me, when the evening rolls around, it's the time of day where I'm tired. I've done, you know, I've been creative because my work is primarily creative.
Correct.
Um, so I don't want to do anything creative. Um, I'm an introvert, so I don't have a strong drive to, like, go anywhere. Um, but it's the time of day where I would like the company of somebody else,
Mm.
you know, to have a cup of tea, to, you know, share what I've done in my day. So I think there's a component for me of loneliness that
Mm.
creeps in the evening, that I just want the comfort of having the TV on, like
Mm.
having a show playing, listening to a podcast, and that's ends up just being me sitting in my chair until 11 o'clock, and then I go, oh crap, I need to go to bed.
Mm.
So I think I agree. I want to clean up my evening ritual. I do at least have, like, if you've ever been to my house, my lights, or been on a webinar with me, at 8:30, my lights turn red So I do have that visual kind of cue of, bringing light down, getting kind of that cozy vibe, but it doesn't trigger me to then get off my screen and do some stretching
Mm.
or like, so I think where I've landed is it's the part of my day where I miss having people in my home.
Mm.
What do you think it is for you?
I think I'm the opposite. I spend all day talking to people, right? And because I, again, live alone, when I get home, my home is my sanctuary. My home is my quiet place. It's where I don't have to talk to anybody if I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've been on all day, talking to people, helping people, working with people, being creative in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
um, when I get home, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. So the idea for me of having to sit down and like journal, that's why I said I journal. Sometimes it depends on my day.
Mm-hmm.
Like some days I get home and the last thing I want to do is think or write. So for me, it's just, I'm just going to put this mindless show on. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to think. I
Mm-hmm.
can just, have it there and just be.
So I guess my question for you is, and it's kind of for me too. We both are recovering perfectionists.
Mm.
So I guess one, what would you like your evening ritual to look like? Routine, habit, whatever. But also, why do we feel like we need to make what we're doing currently wrong?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm. Because listening to what we've already said,
Yeah,
we've been very intentional, very
all day.
focused, very, ritualistic, um, throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
So, are we just being hard on ourselves that we don't like? We're not watching 8 hours of TV.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
is there, what would you tweak? Or where do you need to accept yourself that it's actually okay?
Well, I think where it stems from for me is um, a lot of the reading I've been doing and the research I've been doing around, perimenopause, menopause, and hormones.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you get your cortisol levels down? And how do you keep your cortisol levels down? And how do you get better sleep? And I need more restorative sleep. So everything that I'm reading is telling me that you need to have a nighttime routine because you need to get your body into sleep mode.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I sit there and I think, okay, well, I'm sitting here watching this TV show that's not relaxing.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm tired, or I'll fall asleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to get up and then go to bed. And then by the time I get to bed, I don't want to sleep.
Right.
So in my mind, I don't know if I'm being hard on myself in the sense that, do I really need a night routine? I think I do because of that reason, because
Mm-hmm.
I fall asleep on the couch and I'm not getting the restorative sleep that I need.
Right.
And if I don't get the restorative sleep, then the hormones are out of balance and then that just throws everything else off, right?
Right.
So all the work I'm doing during the day is
Mm-hmm.
for naught,
Mm-hmm.
almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Right.
So what does that look like for me? If I knew I would do it, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
like I know that I need to get stuff out of my head. So I should be journaling, even if it's just a brain dump,
Right.
right?
Right.
I know I should do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to make myself do that right now. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
convince myself that it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I just need to start doing it and then seeing the results and being like, oh, yeah, maybe this works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think another thing that I should be doing is, um, I mean, my phone turns itself off at 10 o'clock,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
I can't be on screens.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do I get myself off the couch, I guess, is the
Right.
question, right? So
Right.
is it that I say, okay, my screen has turned off at 10 o'clock. So now that's time for me to turn off
Mm-hmm.
everything
Mm-hmm.
and then go upstairs, do some red light therapy, do some stretching, and do that in my room. So I'm already in my room and then I just
Mm-hmm.
climb into bed.
Yeah, I think for me, it needs to be something that is, don't want to say as easy as watching TV, because TV, I don't think anything gets more easy than TV. Um, but yeah, like it's almost like I get frozen.
Mm,
Like, okay, this I don't want to be watching TV right now, but I have no clue what the alternative looks like.
right.
So then it's just easier to get stuck here
Yeah.
watching another episode of whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Um so yeah, I feel like, but I've also done the like, oh, I've got a red light therapy. It would be great to just move into doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I still don't.
Yep.
So I
Yeah, we don't have an answer.
we don't have an answer.
And that's okay.
If you're listening to this and you have a great evening routine, we'd love to hear from
Yeah,
you,
share.
because yeah, and I think the other thing, again, we'll have a whole episode on light at some point, but my commitment to having less light in the evening then takes like reading off the table,
Mm-hmm.
because it's as my eyes move into menopausal years, um, they don't really want to be squinting at a book in red light.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm really good at making good excuses for things that I don't want to do in the evening. I think maybe for me, it might be front loading some of those things, so that, if I know I do my Duolingo from 8 to 8:30, maybe I shift that to 8:30, because I can do my Duolingo when my lights go red.
Mm.
And maybe it's like between dinner and the lights going red is when I fit in the things.
You don't even know what things.
I don't even know what things. I don't even know what
I
things.
know it's so weird. It's to me, I just find it mind-boggling that we we have all
We
these
win in the
yeah,
morning.
we have all these things to get us going in the day, and then it's like, oh yeah, wait, we need to unwind, but we don't know how
Mm-hmm.
because we've never been taught.
Yes. Yeah.
We've never been taught how
No.
to unwind. It's
I.
always
Yeah.
been go, go, go.
Yeah.
This is the world we live in, right? Go,
And
go, go,
if
go,
I think
go.
about my parents, well, my dad worked nights, so he wasn't around. But when I think about my mom, like, she had this thing where she had to watch the news at 11.
Hmm.
Like, it didn't matter if she was sleeping in her chair from like 10 till 5 to 11. So her nightly routine was, she would make herself a cup of coffee.
Oh God.
She would have her last cup of coffee and like cheese and crackers at like 10:30 at night,
Oh my goodness.
and then put the news on. And then, like, I think the weather was at 20 after 11.
Mm-hmm.
She would watch the weather, and then they'd go to commercial break and she would go to bed. And like, I know that that's not the routine I want, but I also do know that there is this little thing that's hardwired in my brain that I can't go to bed until 11.
Yeah. Huh.
So yes, I agree with you. We were definitely not taught
No.
how to, because let's be honest, watching the news at 11 o'clock at night with a cup of coffee,
Yeah, not the
my
best
poor
way.
mother and her cortisol
Oh
levels.
yes. Well, now you got me thinking though. I'm thinking about when I was a kid. Because when you're a kid, you always had to be in bed by, I don't know, I had to be in bed by 7, and then it became 8, and then it became, you could stay
Yeah.
up later. But I was trying to think. There was really no routine. It was just my mom would come in and be like, bedtime, click,
Yeah.
and whatever we were doing, we had to stop it and go to bed.
Yeah.
So we never had a wind down,
No,
you
I
know?
didn't either.
And
And I know, I think it's interesting that you said click, because that was generally it.
yeah,
Like, I did watch TV
yeah,
until I was told I had to go to bed.
yeah.
So, I do some nights, I get like, I put music on and I'll be working on something creative. And always on those nights, I'm like, this was a really amazing evening.
Mm.
And I do. I'm like, why don't I do this more often? and then it'll be like a week before I do it again,
Yeah.
and exactly the same thing. I'll be like, this was really nice. um yeah, making change is such a wild thing as a human. Like, we really aren't wired
No,
to be like,
no. Because when you think about it, I mean, habit is what kept us alive,
mm-hmm,
right?
yeah,
Like you had to have everything done before the sun went down.
yeah,
We were on that circadian rhythm.
yes.
So,
So
so how do we end this? I don't even know.
I know, I was sitting here going, so we were super inspiring for like the first 20 minutes of this podcast, and we were really human for the last half.
Yeah. And that is who we are though.
Yeah,
We're real. We're
yeah,
human. We're not perfect and we're not afraid to say we're not
yeah,
perfect.
for sure.
So we are a work in progress.
Yep. So I think really, I guess for me, the takeaways are, how can I recognize that loneliness in the evening that doesn't end up spiraling into like sadness?
Right.
Um, how can I, just bring more intentionality into my evening, even if right now it is, I am going to watch TV, but I'm
Mhm.
only going to watch, it until 10 o'clock when my phone locks. My phone actually locks at 9:30. Like, and then maybe we use each other as accountability buddies. Like,
Yep.
we've been really good at that with our movement,
Yep.
and maybe we just need to know that we both are off the couch, off the screens,
Yeah.
and recognizing it's probably going to feel uncomfortable for the first little while until it feels like routine.
Yeah. It takes a while. Was it 21 days or something?
I think it's all over the map.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes some people say 21 days, some people say 90. I don't
Oh
know.
God, I can't. 90 days.
We'll just focus on the like 21
Yeah, let's focus on 21
days.
days. One day at a
And
time. Let's
you know,
focus on one day at a time.
yeah. So hopefully this was inspiring. Hopefully this let you know that you're not alone if
Yeah.
you're struggling to change either a morning or evening routine, that it takes time and grace.
Yes.
And
If
let
you
us
if you have a nighttime routine, like we said earlier, just please like drop it,
drop a comment.
drop a comment. I don't know what is it on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's drop a comment.
Okay, drop a comment. Or if you go on our posts and you see something on the post, comment on the post
Yeah.
too, because I mean,
Yeah.
everybody looks at them,
Yeah.
and we all help each other out,
Yeah.
which is kind of what we want. So,
Absolutely. And like, share, do all the things,
yep,
and we'll be back. We'll be back with more wild and wonderful couch conversations.
yep.
See you next time.